Hey, what's going on, guys? Poison Rain here, and welcome to this half rush tutorial. um, I'm trying to do weekly uploads at this point, and I've been slacking, so I'm gonna get this video recorded and then edited all within a day. Well, I'll be recording one night, got like an hour or something, and then tomorrow I'll be editing it. So yeah, sorry if it's not as the best quality, but it's of this tunnel bore here. It's expandable, not infinitely expandable. That one over there is, but I do gotta get it set up a certain distance away from spawn. It's not the right distance. It's got to be at least 256 blocks away from spawn, so it's either negative 256 away or 250 past 255 on either X or Z. But yeah, this one here, it isn't locational. You don't have to worry about it. Where you place it, you can place it directly under spawn for all I care. So yeah, it's the smallest I could get it. 2 blocks high if you exclude the storages. And it is automatic or semi-automatic. I'll let you guys see it. It's in semi-auto mode right now. Alright, as you saw, it shot once, but if I remove this slime block, it will be in auto mode. And it's perfectly timed so that 4 ticks later it dispenses a brand new TNT. Actually, I think it's 8 ticks in this design. Yeah. And all you have to do is replace the slime block and it will stop after 1 more cycle. So yeah. Now how to build it. You're gonna want to... I can't speak. You're gonna want to make sure that you're 11 blocks away from the wall that you're blasting at. On the 11th block, you'll place the dispenser, and behind it, iron block. Make a U out of slime underneath it, or out of honey. It honestly does not matter. Iron block here. Hopper here. Chest here. Then you're gonna need any wall here. And then 3 blocks back, you're gonna want honey. And I believe it's starting here and then ends here. Yeah. And then an observer here. Slime underneath. And right here, piston. Observer facing power into it. Then on the back, redstone block. On both of those, 2 sticky pistons here, 2 slime blocks here, 1 sticky, or 1 slime. Those aren't slime, those are honey. 2 honey there, 1 slime here, piston here, observer here, and then an observer right there. And then right here we got a piston right here with a slime block here, or not slime, a honey block here, sticky piston here. I placed that observer in the wrong spot. I'm so sorry, guys. Goes on the slime block. But yeah. The reason why this one has to be built like this and not like that one down there is because if it gets pushed this gets pushed forward 4 game ticks before this will, and it will create an observer clock which will lock this piston here, and it will get left behind and not activate the rest of it, causing you to have to do some extensive repair work on it. And then after that, you go down and then back, I believe 4 blocks. I'll correct it if I'm wrong. And then you'll do 7 extensions, sorry. 1, 2, not a couple wall, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then piston there, observer facing down and power into that, and then of course I'm going to want to pull out an obsidian so I don't activate them all, and then slime along the back side of this. That way I can place the observers this way. And the only reason why I don't have this here facing into this way is because this slime block will catch it. If it gets activated at the wrong time for some reason, maybe a block update from water falling or a gravel lands on this while it's here, it will cause this to just go nuts. Or if the gravel lands here, it'll go nuts. So yeah, next up you're going to want to build 5 pushing extensions, this one being the first, second one here, missing my piston, and then third one like this, fourth one like this, and then the fifth one like this. And then you're finally going to need the motor, of course, which you pull out here. Alright, so I figured out which one needs to be honey. It's this one, because you'll pull this back up to here, break that observer here, piston there. It doesn't matter what length that is as long as it's not so long that the observer is farther than here. Then you'll want to build 2 out with a sticky piston here, 2 slime blocks here, piston here. Probably should have placed the observer first, and then you're going to want to pull this out. There will be there's gonna be an observer here and a solid block there, but I forgot what I did here. So you'll pull this out, 4 blocks. Now I'll get back to it later. We'll finish up the igniter. So you'll have a slime block there, sticky piston here, slime block up there with a observer here. Due to a bug, you're unable to place fence gates unless there's a block below, and I mean a full block. So make sure to put a slime block there, then place your trapdoor. Now you can place your slime block here because it's safe and it won't automatically fire before you're ready. And then all that's left is this mechanism back here, which I will go and look and see what it is. Alright, it's exactly as I thought. You're going to want to put a honey block here, observer here, and a piston here. That way we can avoid going over push limit. I've had problems with that, and it has cost me hours of work. And then next is the part that you will repeat over and over again until you have one that is as long as you want it or reaches the max length of your simulation distance, which is the simulation distance plus 1, because the first one is the chunk that you will be building your machine in. But if you don't have lined out chunk borders like I do, well, there are methods online on how to figure out how to do, or how to figure out those chunk borders without cheats. I wouldn't even call this a cheat, but people call it cheating for some reason. But yeah, this can go two-way, I believe, if I were to just expand this out 2 more blocks. I would have to go out 1 more block, and then blocks of redstone here. So yeah. So you can make this yeah, both sides. You just have to stand still while it's running, rather than I'm automatically just starting to go. But you do get double the length. So how to build this section, that's the expandable part. You go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Redstone block, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Redstone block, a server there, piston out. Probably tell what's gonna happen. 2 blocks out there, then a piston, hopper. I need all of these. A dispenser and a cobble wall. Dispenser, cobble wall, hopper. Sticky piston out the back. Honey block there, slime block there. Need my observers back. Thank you. And then 2 pistons right there. And you'll continue that with the honey here and the slime block here. And I'll just make this a 3rd module. That way you guys can see that it does indeed work in both modes. So I'll get back with you guys when I get this last section done. Alright, so now what you're going to want to do, of course, is load up the TNT into the dispensers, into the hoppers, the chests. In survival, you're most likely going to want to do a system where you've got, depending on the size of this, it can be faster to do it by hand, or it can be faster to do it with shulkers. Over here with a thing this big, it is faster to load it with 2 things of shulkers, feeding in at double hopper speed into the chest. The chest feeds this at single hopper speed, so you're filling the chest at single hopper speed and filling these at single hopper speed, so you will end up finishing with the chest being filled halfway by the time these are completely filled. So you'll only have to wait for, well, chest to fill up halfway, which will be half as fat, or half the time than when it was also filling this. You get the point. I'm over explaining something that doesn't need to be explained, period. But yeah, I need to make sure I got TNT in all of them. No, I didn't get this one, and I got that one, so cool. If this does not work, there's something wrong, and I'm going to cry. So let's do this. There we go. If it works one time, you won't have any problems unless you're working on a laggy world. So yeah, I can just do this however many times I want. It'll do just fine. And I can even turn it into automatic mode just by removing the slime block. I kind of need to remove this command block so it stops giving me TNT. 2 things you need to be wary about: gravel and water. I have actually had one of these things get defeated by gravel because it was just so much. I'm going to turn this off so I can actually talk to you guys. So I'm going to break this down piece by piece so you guys can see exactly what's happening when it's happening. But at a much slower pace. This one here is going to be a bit harder to explain. But yeah, so this here will, when you flick the fence gate, it will automatically, so this observer here detects that the fence gate here has been opened, so it will trigger and cause this sticky piston here to push out and then pull back this. At the same time, this here will push out this here so that the observer is away from here and there's a 1 block gap. This is important for later when this here since it gets pulled back, this observer detects it and will activate this sticky piston here, pulling this section back, pushing this forward because this will detect that it's being pushed forward, and then this will detect that it's being pushed forward and start the timing chain. Once the timing chain has reached here, it will then push this section here forward, then allowing a gap here to be open again so it can then pull this forward. Now, how this works in automatic mode is, since it can't get pushed forward, this here will get pushed forward, the gap will be closed. Let me demonstrate. The gap will be closed, so there's no gap here. So when this here gets pushed forward, it will cause this observer here to detect that it's been pushed forward, causing this to pull back. It'll go through, do the timings, and do it all over again. So the timings here is a 38 tick. Technically it's a 40 tick, but I'm subtracting the 2 ticks that this here causes, which is a delay before the TNT explodes. If I'm remembering correctly, it takes 40 redstone ticks for TNT to explode. So this thing here is cutting the bare minimum and the maximum as well. So basically this gets pushed forward, and when it does, it pulls this pulling extension, which then pulls this pulling extension, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and so on. Then it goes to the pushing extensions, which push all each other into this bottom section. This here is the firing mechanism. I forgot to put a honey and a slime here. And this firing mechanism works by, initially, the starter will push this, which will then push this section here. The TNT will dispense and be on here, a half a block above the cobble wall, because that is the hitbox of the collision box of the cobble wall. And then when the timing is done, 38 ticks later, it will then push the machine forward. The TNT will be pushed by slime, which will cause it to be bouncy, and it will fly off into the wall and explode at the right spot. Now this next part is the chaining of the tunnel bore. So how it works is, when this section here gets pushed forward, this redstone block gets pushed forward, which will then retract the sticky piston, and the sticky piston will pull this with it. This observer will detect a change. The observer will push this forward, or cause this to activate, which will cause it to push it forward, and since this is no longer extended, it can be moved. and then it'll now be next to the redstone block again, which means it'll extend, ready to pull it in again, and this will push it in, pulling the redstone block away, over and over again down the line. And this here is just 2 of these 4-tick chains stacked on top of each other. You can move them 1 block forward without causing problems. And as you can see, the bottom one works just fine. But if you have this moved forward twice, it will then grab onto these, and this will get stuck to things here, and it'll lock in place, and your machine will be broken. I don't know if that explanation was good enough, but if it was, yay. If it wasn't, tell me in the comments how I can improve. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, hit the like button. Let's see if we can hit 15 likes. I know you guys can hit it. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. If you like this stuff. If you don't, then I don't think you'll want to see a bunch of redstone stuff showing up on your recommended. Although, don't think it would. Not big enough. But who cares about that? Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day.